Well, all right. Welcome back, everyone, to an episode of Mark's Marvelous Mysteries. You know the drill. We've got our voice censored, so the government can't track me through my podcasting platforms here on the IPN, coming at you live on a Saturday evening. Now, we're going to have a new episode of Mark's Marvelous Mysteries tonight, and we're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff. We're going to have a lot of so-called experts coming on the show, but before we do that, we've got a scientist in the building here, big, hotshot scientist.
Hello, I'm a scientist, and that is correct.
And he's got a new device that we are going to be testing out on the program today. And this device is called the Recombinator.
That is correct.
And supposedly, this device is meant to resurrect ghosts. That's right, folks, you heard that here correctly on Mark's Marvelous Mysteries, a subsidiary of IPN. We are going to have a live ghost resurrection session on this device known as the Recombinator. So Doc,
yes, sir.
Fire it up in the corner over here. We're gonna turn some knobs, hit some buttons, and let's just let's see what we get. Okay, well, all right. Well, this is interesting. The doctor is telling me that we're getting some interesting readings here. We've got some photon levels that are spiking. Oh, wait a minute.
That's not good right there,
We
sir.
have audible speech coming through here. I'm gonna patch it in so all of you listeners can listen live here on Mark's Marvelous Mysteries.
Oh boy.
Hey, fuck you, Mark.
Coming at you from the flat plane.
We have escaped from the upside down.
Ooh, Mark, you thought we flatlined like your Earth, but we're coming back around.
Gravity can't hold us down. You're being lied to.
Oh no, not you. I thought we got rid of you. I gotta get the hell out of
here. We're back. Play my fucking music. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the premiere podcast on the IPN. Should really think about shopping out to a new network after they sold me down the river last season. But yeah, anyway, we are coming at you live for episode 1 of season 2. My name is Aaron, and I have got the fully stacked cast lineup for the show today. We've got a brand new guest, so I'll go ahead and introduce him first. We've got Chris coming at us from, I always forget to do these damn intros. I literally have everything marked down. I'm ready to go. And, okay, I got one. So Chris, you're coming at us live from a Hardee's ball pit.
What it do, baby?
And we've got Bill coming at us from a McDonald's ball pit.
Hey now.
And we've got Erick coming at us from a Wendy's ball pit.
Yo.
And like I said, I'm your host, Aaron. Where am I? I am coming from underneath a ball pit in a Carl's Jr. There was a hole in the ball pit, and I stepped into it, and I just ripped all the way clear through.
It's interesting that you mentioned a Hardee's ball pit and a Carl's Jr. ball pit.
I kind of panicked. I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't even know that a Hardee's has a ball pit.
Oh, they do. They do. Because I have a story for all of you today, and it's about how Chris and I met. So that
in the ball pit?
Kind of.
You'd be surprised.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, so we've got a really great show lined up for you today. The title of it, as the gents have been prepped, so I guess I'll prep the audience here, is called College Money Pyramid Scheme. And there's a lot of words there to unpack, but we'll get to each one. Don't you worry. But I figured what we do, since the audience already knows who Billy is, the audience already knows who Erick is. Now we've got to get acquainted with our young lad, Chris, over here. So Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself. You like long walks on the beach?
Oh yeah, definitely long walks on the beach.
Yeah, we know how to treat you right here. But for those of you that don't know, I've known Chris my whole fucking life. Let's see. I'm 30 years old now, and I've known him since I was about 5. So that's 25 years there.
Wow.
We just had our 25th anniversary.
We did,
Nice.
and it's very exciting. So the way that Chris and I met was we went to the same school, obviously, and after orientation for elementary school, I don't know if you remember this, Chris, but my mom and your mom started to become friends at the orientation, and I guess like we were introduced, like we were probably like, hello, like, you know, whatever kids say to one another.
Hi.
And and then we both went to Hardee's after orientation. And
Hardee's.
and we met at Hardee's, and I taught you. This was the one that it was on where the old McDonald's used to be. Now it's a Hoffman's car wash, like in the
Okay.
plaza where we used to play like racquetball. There was a Hardee's there before there was a McDonald's. And I taught you how to climb up on the windowsill in the ball pit room, and we were jumping from the windowsill into the ball pit.
Awesome.
It's extreme. Extreme ball pitting.
Oh yeah, it was. For reference, this was probably a good, like, I want to say like 3 to 4 foot jump. Like this was scary for us, you know, children. And that's how we met. But, you know, Chris is a man of many talents. He's been...
It's kind of a renaissance man, if you will.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. We were in a band together. He played bass.
Love that.
I was the vocalist. Let's see, what else did we do? He was a DJ.
I remember that.
Yep, you were a DJ. Were you a part of Vinny's Underground Street Racing League or no?
No, I wasn't. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, Vinny spray painted a symbol on the back of our local Price Chopper to try to get an underground street racing league going.
Did he really? I did not know that.
There you go, Price Chopper team member.
He did, and then they painted over it within, I think it was like 48 hours.
Wow.
Because he took me by it one day and he was like, hey, look what I did. And I was like, wait, you did that? And then all of a sudden, like 24 hours later, it was like brown. Like they painted it like the same color as the
Fucking
building.
had it with his shit.
He's a wild man.
He is.
You know, that's interesting you brought that up because I've now known Chris for 17 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's crazy.
That's
We're in
wild.
different states.
That
Wow.
is wild.
Yeah.
17 years, man.
In fact, I want to say you two have only met twice.
3
I
times.
think 3? Okay.
Because
I was
Chris
gonna say
came
twice.
to, I think Chris came to a show by himself once as well.
No, it wasn't
Oh, no,
a
he
show.
you came
It was
to
like
the
a
Capitol
brew
tent.
fest. Yes.
Yeah, you came to, it was in Ellicottville, New York at that ski
Right.
festival. Yeah.
Wait, that was a ski festival?
Well, it's in a ski town. It's like a fall festival. So like crafts, music, food. That's right. You did come to that. So 3 times.
Bill was out there selling Capital. Is it Capital
Yeah.
Company? Capital Company PBR logo shirts. I remember
That's
that.
the first day. That's the day that we got our Red Bull deal was that same day.
Shit, I never knew you had a Red Bull deal.
Yeah, brief.
Nice.
Got all sorts of deals going on.
Yeah.
And then obviously, people should know, or maybe you don't remember, but you know, we'll refresh their memory. Obviously, since I've known Eric through school, that means that Chris and Eric have also known each other for several years because we went all through school together. But I don't know if you two in particular ever hung out. I can't recall you two being in the same social circle.
I would say no, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think like outside of like the classroom. Like we had a lot of classes together, I think.
Yeah, that's what I recalled. And then obviously, like as we were older, we did a lot of shenanigans together. Like we used to play racquetball in the gym.
Yeah.
We went ghost hunting late at night in a cemetery together. That was awesome. And that'll actually probably be on an upcoming episode of the podcast, hopefully in season 2 here. And I'm trying to think what else. I guess just getting together and like obviously playing video games and stuff. And this quartet that we have is our Fortnite crew. We are finally reunited after it's gotta be a year and like 7 or 8 or 9 months since the last time this group of 4 was talking together.
I think so.
Now, do you want to just bag the podcast and get on Fortnite? Question.
we upload it right now.
I'll fire it up right now.
It's gonna take me at least 30 minutes to re-download.
Yeah, I don't think I have enough space on my PS5. I have to try to
Right.
like delete some stuff just to, get it cleared away. But I mean, we could. I mean, I got this whole show planned, this nice,
No. We'll go with that.
rendezvous, this reunion of sorts. But yeah, so that's pretty much how I know Chris. Grew up with him, taught him how to jump off of windowsills into Hardy's ball pits. We've grown, we've lived, we've laughed, and we've loved. So there
Yeah.
we go.
And to bring it around a little more full circle to your other episodes, I'm the one that had the car that went off the ditch.
You were also a part of the strip club episode.
I
Yeah.
had a few choice words for the employees, I guess, that work there.
So before we actually start off the new episode, did you realize in the moment how aggressive you were being? Or
No, I didn't. But now that I look back on it, it was pretty bad, I bet.
that was just off the cuff, Chris? Like, that was uncensored Chris, like coming at a mustachioed managerial patron
Mustachioed.
of the lovely
Who
lady
would go
lingerie.
here? There's a lot of things that just pop in my mind, and sometimes I just say them before I even filter things.
Hey, that's how you know it's good. That's how you know.
Yeah. Goya. So you know it's good.
Goya, so you know it's
Mm.
good. By the way, side note, that was a phrase that we used to say when we played video games together. That's why that just came up. Why is it that when I go into the grocery store, like my local Hannaford, there is Goya listed up on the aisle? So they'll be like, oh, this is the seafood aisle. This is the pasta aisle. They have Goya listed up on there. Like, is
It's
Goya
like a movement.
It's
Yeah,
yeah.
is it such a controlling brand that they've now infiltrated supermarkets?
It's like when Zipper used to be a company, but it was so popular that they just made it a thing and it's not a brand anymore. That's Goya. Like Goya is now a cultural style of food.
Eric, do you remember when you worked in Hannaford, did they have Goya as an aisle marker?
No way.
So this was pre-Goya dominance, like pre-takeover.
Yeah. I don't remember that at all.
Interesting.
In my days, I remember it working at Price Chopper.
That's
It
right.
was definitely labeled the Goya aisle.
Okay.
So you know it's good.
Yeah, so they were working their way up the corporate ladder. Like they got a hold of the Golub family, like, the Price Chopper Corp people, and then eventually now they've worked their way to Hannaford, if you can believe it.
Do you remember the one Call of Duty where you could make your own emblem and everybody had the Goya emblem? It's
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
yeah, I do remember that.
And then we made our clan tag Goya.
I don't know if I ever made, like if I was sponsored, but visually sponsored by Goya. I know I had the Goya clan tag, but that was about it.
It's completely ridiculous because we had 6 people with the same Goya emblem.
Could you just imagine being a random person, like in a lobby, and all of a sudden seeing a pack of Goyas roll
6
through?
Goyas. Yeah.
Like 6 Goya
They just stomp on
associates.
you.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know. Would I be like, man, did corporate Goya sell us out, or like did
Right.
is this just a ragtag group of people that really enjoy Goya?
Goya.
But yeah, so like I said, I do have a fully stacked episode of the podcast for us here. But the name of the episode is called College Money Pyramid Scheme, as has been discussed, as is tradition. And I figured the reason why I would name it that is because the story I'm about to tell, it's not your typical pyramid scheme where it's like a top-down money-making scheme where like one person recruits 2, each of those 2 recruit like another 3, and then it kind of spider webs down to a larger base. It's not about that. But I meant the term pyramid scheme in more of the sense of it just seemed like an illicit money laundering activity that was happening at this college. It's far and away the most bizarre interaction I've ever had with a college institution. But yeah, I figured I'd share it with you gents and the audience at large today. So if you're ready, I'll fire up the old story machine and we can get underway.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm strapped in.
Strapped in, strapped on, and ready to go. So the story begins where I have officially now graduated from the 2-year university, community college, if you will, that both Chris and I went to when the Chad M rivalry story was in full force. So I decide to go to a 4-year institution to finish up my bachelor's. And just so you gents know where I'm talking about, because I will censor out the name of the college because it's not like I'm trying to go to war with this institution. I'm pretty sure I'd lose.
Potentially.
But this is they are the ones who initiated this weird exchange. So yeah, so I basically got accepted into this institution. I had a couple of scholarships going in that really paid for diddly squat. I paid for my books and other materials out of pocket. And then a lot of other stuff was paid for by loans. Like I took out loans to go here. Now, the good news is I only went there for a semester. So it's not like I accrued a ton of debt from this institution. However, the amount of money that was like changing hands or coming from different sources, I should say, was startling. Like scholarships were going from these businesses or institutions to the college. And then I was paying them directly for my academic materials. And then they were also receiving loan money from the government. So this is how, like, you can see how the spider web of the pyramid is starting to form. And when it was all said and done, I was going there for like business reasons, like accounting, if you will. It's a great business and accounting school. Don't know if any of you knew that. I think Chris did, but I don't know if you two.
I didn't.
Yeah. But they're also known for their basketball, like their sports teams and stuff like that. So maybe that gives it away. I don't really give a shit. But as the semester went on, I could tell I did not want to go there for very long. And I knew I was not long for the academia world. So I was kind of making, as the semester went on, I was making moves to transfer out of there and get out of there just as quickly as I had gone in there. And luckily I commuted there, so I didn't have to worry about like living on campus, you know, all that. It was still a very long commute. It was about an hour-long commute to go from my house to. So it was, It's quite the toll on my car and me and all that.
And you're mental, dude. You're mental.
Oh, exactly. And my wallet. So eventually I started to get the paperwork of like me transferring out of this college. And I get a call, and I don't know if it was from the financial aid department or the admissions team, because I was working with both at the time. And I get a call from them, and they're like, yeah, so you have a credit balance on your account, meaning they owed me money. So like after all of these like loans and scholarships and out of pocket money were processed, they're like, we owe you $5.16. Now, very odd sum of money. I don't know where the 16 cents came in. I also don't know where the $5 came in, because we're talking about thousands of dollars in loans and, you know, tuition and supplies and stuff like that. And I get a notice, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, put it on my tab, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's not I ate on campus. It's not like I lived on campus. I had no use for bucks, if you will. Like, to me, it was just an imaginary currency that existed for other people and not for myself. So every month for, I want to say, over a year, they would send me a notice that said that they owed me $5.16. Now, I know what you're thinking, Aaron. A semester at this college was only 3 to 4 months. You left there. You said that they were sending you postage for over a year. Why did you not take care of this sooner? Oh, believe me, I tried.
Right.
They weren't having any of it. This was ridiculous at this point. So they just would, every single month on the dot, like clockwork, they would send me a thing in the mail that was like, hey, we owe you this money, just letting you know. And multiple times I tried to get a hold of people. I tried to send letters. I tried to call departments so they could give me my $5.16. And one day I had it. I was tired of leaving voicemails. I was tired of receiving correspondence via the mail, because I'm sure
Notices.
At this point, yeah, of all the times that they've sent out mail to me, it has to have exceeded in postage the cost of $5.16. So not only is it not worth it for me, it's not worth it for them double at this point, because they already owe me the money, and now they've accrued more losses in postage. So I try calling, I think it was the admissions team first. And I think, I don't remember if I got a hold of somebody who could actually help me or a work study student. I'm pretty sure it was a work study student, and I'm just trying to explain to them like what's going on. And they were just like, yeah, that's way above my pay grade.
They're just freshmen.
Yeah, like, I'm going to transfer you to somebody who can actually help you. And I don't remember this person's name. I think it was a lady who I maybe had a conversation with at some point during my time at the college. But she was like, okay, so what's your problem? Because I could already tell she didn't want to hear my bullshit on this day. And I said, well, apparently you guys owe me $5.16. You're harassing me via the mail and you won't give me my money back. Can you just send me a check or something for $5.16? Like at this point, it's just costing you more in postage and me more in time and effort. And she rustled some papers. It was like the equivalent of somebody who was like, straightening out the corners of paper that they have like on their desk.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, we can't do that. And I was like, excuse me?
Why?
And she's like, well, we can't send checks out to students. It's just not in our policy.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, how do I get this money then? Like, if you guys owe me this $5.16. And she goes, well, you can just come down to the college and we can pay you.
Right.
Now, I've never heard of a college giving their students money, like cash, especially if they owe them cash. Like, what am I going to do? Show up on campus, some dude, I'm going to meet him behind like the quad fountain or whatever, and he's going to be like, here's your dollars, like, here's your cash,
He's going to break you off.
Exactly. Like, I have no idea what to expect. And I said, well, can I not do that? And she's like, excuse me? And I said, well, you don't understand. I live an hour away from campus. So I'm going to accrue more in gas expenses to drive to your campus and then drive home more than it would be worth it for me to just obtain my $5.16. And she goes, yeah, we can't do that. We can't make an we can't make an exception.
Crazy.
And I know at this point, I'm just like, what is happening? Like somebody's got to be pranking me. Like Ashton Kutcher, are you on the other line?
So did they give you an option at all to like just give it up, like void it? Like, could you just be like, okay, I don't want the $5?
Still getting harassed to this day.
No, they've accrued over $50 in postage, whatever the cost of an individual stamp is today. But yeah, so they were just like, well, you need to come get this money. And I said, well, I'm not going to. That's what I actually said to her on the phone. I said, well, I'm not coming to get this money, so I don't know what you want to do with it. So she said, well, I guess there is one other thing you can do. And then I said, what is that? And she said, you could make a donation to the college. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll do that, whatever. So I made a $5.16 donation to this prestigious university in New York, this well-established name. And what made it even better was she then had to end that phone call by saying, thank you for your donation.
That's fantastic.
As if I donated like this elaborate grant to this institution or whatever. And they still had to send me one more thing of postage, which was a thank you letter thanking me for donating to the college. So they still had to send me one more thing through the mail.
That's wild.
And what made it even better was then they included a donation slip just in case I got the bug to donate to their institution again.
The itch,
Yeah, if you will. And I never did. And just like I never contacted them again, they also never contacted me again. It was almost as if we understood that we had an agreement, like we are never going to talk to each other ever again.
It was an official breakup.
Yeah, it was. And it was probably the snarkiest conversation I ever had with an academic institution, I guess I should say. But yeah, it was something to this day that, like, I tell the story and a lot of people are like, that didn't happen. And I'm like, well, it did. I have the paperwork to prove it.
I just can't imagine that they would want you to come there and they're just going to hand out cash. Like, as a college, I can't imagine you hand out cash. Like, everything has to have a paper trail.
Like, I almost expected to show up and there'd be like, here's a coupon, go have a meal in the cafeteria or whatever.
$5 food bucks.
And I'm like envisioning like somebody like at the counter, like licking their finger with a stack of money and like counting out $5 bills one at a time.
Yeah, like they specifically pulled out the wad of cash from the tuition box and they were just like, here you go. Like, one, two.
Exactly.
They probably make you go to the cafeteria, be like, oh, we don't have a register here in the in our office. You gotta go to the cafeteria to get your $5.
It's like, oh, we're fresh out of singles. You got to go to the bookstore. So now I'm walking all along campus and, just being taunted each and every way by like, every security guy with a golf cart, every teacher, That's like, yeah, this jabroni's coming up for, his $5.16 of, college bucks. Here you go, big time money earner.
I'm sorry, we can't open this register without a purchase.
How much is that going to cost? That's going to cost you $5.16 after tax. It's like, great. So now I drove down here for no reason, put mileage on my car, wasted my day, and money in my gas tank. So there you go. But yeah, I just don't know if there's like some underground scheme that they have going on at that school. I don't know. I have no idea how the dorm situation's going on. I think I went to the cafeteria once, and that was during the campus tour when they're like, hey, do you want to come here? And that was the only time I ever set foot in there. I almost kind of expected them to give me money off of like a basketball game. Like, hey, go to a basketball game, support, our team, whatever the...
Go team.
Yeah, like I think they were and, I was like, I'm not going there. I will not be doing that. So, yeah, I just decided to play, violence on that phone call.
Yeah, you woke up and chose violence, man.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know if any of you gentlemen have any, like, sort of interesting or relatable, like, college money pyramid scheme stories lined up. If you do, the floor is yours. If you don't, I guess I can kind of go on to our next topic of business in the hard segue department. That's a long silence right there for all of you people at home.
I didn't experience anything like that, but you have to think that there is probably something going on at a lot of these colleges, because sometimes they do get busted, but there's probably a lot of times that what do you want to call it, the high up people that work there are laundering money and they just don't get caught.
Yeah, it's all sorts of fraud. I'm sure there's tax evasion going on. I'm sure there's just all sorts of other illicit activities happening. The one story that I can think of, and it's not my story to tell, so I won't tell like the full experience, but the one thing that was pretty comparable from like an admissions mix-up was our friend Peter applied and got accepted to the wrong school. So all of a sudden he applied and he wanted to go to the University of Buffalo, like the SUNY school out there, but he applied and got into Buff State, like Buffalo State.
What?
So all of a sudden I had gone back to, after this, endeavor with this 4-year school, I went back to the community college to take some classes that I could transfer in to what would be my, future 4-year school. And I was there, and like on day 1 or day 2, all of a sudden I see Peter walk in the halls, and I was like, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be in Buffalo? And he goes, yeah, I applied to the wrong school.
How do you even apply to the wrong school?
That's crazy.
You haven't met the guy.
Yeah, you have not met the guy. Peter is a very special individual.
Love the guy though. Love him.
Oh yeah, he's salt of the earth. Love Peter. And he definitely, like, he's got some good stories. And I'm sure Chris could eventually go into details of stories about Peter on future episodes of the show.
Oh, yeah. So eventually he did make it to the University of Buffalo, which is also where I went.
A semester late.
I don't remember him being a semester late. Maybe he was. I don't remember. But there's a lot of stories about him out there, so that's probably for another time.
Like, he had to be a semester late, though, because I think he came back to otherwise, why would I have seen him walking the hallways of that day?
That I don't know. I knew he applied to the wrong school, and he went to like the orientation, and he's like, "Oh, where's your engineering program?" I don't know when he applied to the university. I don't know if it was a semester later or like somehow he was able to do it late and still get in. But I thought he was there both semesters when I first moved out there.
Because I thought the story was like he was going to graduate like a semester behind you guys. So like, you guys were going to leave, graduate, all this good time, and then Peter's just going to be stuck at Buffalo by himself.
Well, also got stuck an extra semester, so I was the only one that graduated on time. So those guys had they were failing some classes. They had to drop out, so they didn't get like the F or whatever to lower their GPA, so they drop out, and they would have to take them again it pushed them all into an extra semester.
I can't say that's surprising for both of them, but actually, speaking of failing, that's a perfect segue into this next story. So, for those of you that don't know, I did end up getting a bachelor's degree at a different college. So you guys know, but I'm gonna censor it out. That's where I got my first bachelor's degree, and it was It was a 4-year degree in business administration with concentrations in a couple different areas of the business world. And I basically wanted to get that just so I had a piece of paper that was like, hire me. I'm hireable. Like, please, I need a job. And just to be done with college, because I hate school and I hate academia at large. And it's just awful.
Really making me feel good about my degree right now, by the way. Thanks.
Well, you know, who's going to have the last laugh, I guess, because then, of course, I knew I was always going to go back to school to get a bachelor's degree in something that I wanted to do, which is what I did. I went back to and got my bachelor's degree in digital cinematography, which is currently like, you know, what I'm doing work in and what I'm looking for a steady job in rather than just like freelance work and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I have a story from when I was at and I was doing their online program. So basically, I still, like this entire time, I went to school full time. I was working full time, living in New York. So I had to take a bunch of classes online that were pretty basic stuff, but a lot of like my basic math, science, English, like all that transferred in from my prior college experience. But very clearly, this one student that I was a classmate with, I don't know how they ever passed English, because I'm going to read you guys something that they wrote for one of our assignments, and it was unbelievable. It is, without a doubt, the wildest paragraph string of sentences I've ever heard in my life. I don't know what to call it because it's not coherent English.
I love that.
But what I'll do is I'll read you this thing first, and then I'll send it to you guys so you guys can actually verify that this is a real thing. Obviously, all the names will be censored out for the future social media posts and stuff like that. But this assignment was for a film history class, you know, very bland and basic course. We were talking about like the history of different film eras and film movements and stuff like that, different actors and actresses that, you know, changed the industry at large, different studios that kind of invented, you know, the way that we do movies today and stuff like that. But this particular discussion board that we had to post to was talking about the transition from silent films to films that had audio and music and stuff that were affectionately called talkies back in the day, like talkie films.
Okay.
So the way that this discussion board worked is each individual student had their own individual post, and then you had to comment on like 2 or 3 other students' posts. So like you were like interacting and like encouraging discussion. That's what they wanted, you know, us to essentially do. So I'm going to read you this person's actual post for this graded assignment. I cannot stress that enough. This was graded by a professor at a college in 2019, 18? I forget when this was. 2018. This was November of 2018. So this name will be censored out, but just so you guys know, the student's name was...
Oh boy.
And they were from Illinois. It hurts my brain to read this every time. So excuse me, like if I like say something, what I'm reading to you is what wrote. Talkie films were replaced with silent films era in the early 1891 to 1937. The first talkie film was The Jazz Singer in the early 1920s. So far, you know, not that bad.
Yeah. Well.
Silent films lost 75% due to lack of data from the silent films. Silent Film Studio were getting new expensive equipment to make better movies with the equipment they were getting. Even made the stages better as well for the films directors are about to make.
Sounds like Charlie wrote it.
Definitely. Wow.
Talkie and silent films had a lot to do making the films perfect. So many films were deliberately destroyed because they had little value of the era before home videos started to come out in to be made.
Oh yeah, that's it.
In to be made.
It's a fucking A in my book.
In the late 1920s, people seemed like they had a hard time getting things perfect with the films they were making. They had to make the sound effect, music effect, and many more they had to get right for the films. Making these movies were great in entertainment, and how they got the acting now by trying so many times to have a perfect movie to sell out. Talkie and silent films were so popular back in the early to the late 1920s to 1930s films, people probably making a lot from older films. So many different things back then look really hard to comprehend with the loud noises in the camera, the bright lights the recorders were using, and so much more. Here we go. This is bringing it home for the ending. Talkie films had feature-length movies with sound. By watching all the movies from The Jazz Singers to every movie that had sound music, anything they did to put something to have it looking like a movie people would be watching.
That, no way wrote that.
Ouch. That's
No
like one
shot.
of those horrible like Google Translates when you translate from some
it's like
other
talk to
language.
It really, really was. And I think what's even crazier about all that, if you can even say that there's something crazier about that, is had to pass English
Right, to get there.
get to that point. So what I just sent to general chat, so feast your eyes on general chat, is exactly what I just read verbatim on this podcast, so you guys know, and you guys can peruse that at your own leisure. But there you go. I should also mention, would post discussion posts at like 4 a.m. So like
We knew what was
Fucking
happening
cooked.
then.
Yeah.
like, you had all week to post these things. Like, you didn't have to post them at 4 a.m, and they usually gave you until midnight, like on a Sunday night,
Right.
leading into Monday morning. And would post this on like a Monday or Tuesday morning at like 4 a.m. Like, got it in bright and early in the week. So then this person also, like I said, that was their post for the assignment. So then they had to comment on other people's posts.
Oh Lord.
And I have one of their comments ready to go and ready to read for everybody. And then I'll also send this to there. By the way, I should also point, you can see from the picture, did have one source for that. So
I saw that.
yeah, that was sourced from a material. So I don't know. I'm a
Gotta
little,
cite your sources.
yeah, I'm a little afraid to go and read that source because I don't know what to expect after reading that. But
That doesn't seem to me, and this is just me, that source would be peer reviewed. Like, I don't think they found that on EBSCO host, you know?
yeah, I don't think so either. Which we did have to use like the library to like get some of these sources. So God bless them if they did. I have no idea. But
Right.
But yeah, so this was their comment to somebody else's post, not mine, thankfully. I didn't have to, reply to their nonsense.
But I wish you did.
Believe me, I had to. I'll get to that after this. So this comment is, by watching The Cameramen and It Happened One Night had me wandering in by those films. Some things were matching up that could have same things in the films, but some parts in the movie, they didn't have some of the same parts.
I hate that.
That was one sentence, by the
I'm already
way.
lost.
Silent films seem like they took longer to make because of the parts of the scenes they had to make get the sound effect with music or just sound with people talking, but using photos.
Ugh.
I don't know.
I also hate the term talkie films. I hate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's not a great thing. I definitely remember like having to get over that. Like I remember when we were doing assignments and talking about that era
Yeah.
of, film history and stuff. It was something to the effect of like, it really took a lot out of me to have to type that like phrase. Like it just sounds like it would be, a term that would be like either derogatory or like from a heyday. Like it just seems like a weird thing to have to write in an academic setting.
Right.
But yeah, there was a different assignment, not in this class. It was for another one, and it was a month later. So passed this class, in case you're wondering.
God bless.
Yep. But this person was in the next class, and that was for Christmas. And I remember one of our Christmas assignments was we were divvied up by the professor, who, by the way, this professor was one of my favorite professors that I had during my time at this college. He divvied us up into different teams, and they were all like holiday themed. Like we were the Green Grinches and the Candy Cane Capers and stuff like that.
Right.
And this person who you just heard, their academic work at its finest, at its peak, if you will, was in my group, and they commented on one of my things. I think what we had to do was like create like a sort of like a slideshow, and we had to like narrate over it. And this person actually like gave me like a video review, and I had to listen to their review for my work. And it was also nonsense. It was basically like, yeah, I thought you did a great job with your work. But I'd like to make a few suggestions. I feel like when you were talking about this, you could have talked about it more. And but other than that, you did great. You did a great job, and it was no constructive feedback whatsoever. Like it was literally just saying like, yeah, do more. That was it. I only had 2 classes with this person. No idea what happened to them, if they ever graduated. I have no idea. But all I know is that I think I want to say I either jumped a couple classes because I had already taken them from past college credits, or they did not move on. I can't see them passing, but they managed to pass somehow.
Right.
And it just, it was a thing.
They got through on a loophole.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, this person, they like, they had their bio written out on their like online profile, and that was fairly coherent. They said that they made like YouTube videos in their spare time. I never had the opportunity to see any of those like YouTube videos or whatever, but like, so they had knowledge about how to do stuff. But I can't believe that they ever submitted this as like work.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Especially like that late in your education, like to run across that. That's pretty wild.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. And this was probably, I want to say this was 4 months in, 5 months into. So, but like I said, they had to have already passed English. They made it through English. So
Right.
Unless they skipped it like me, like they had English credits from another institution, but I don't want to speculate. I don't know.
You just don't know,
You don't know. And, that's where we, I guess,
That's
stand
good stuff.
at this point in time. It is good stuff. I'm pleased with it. It was good.
I remember like, cause I went to school late, like taking gen ed classes at like 20, 21 years old. And like just how odd that was, because you're literally in a class with like a high school kid,
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing some of that. Like I saw that in gen ed classes, but not later.
Yeah, and we had like the same experience. Like I remember going to like my community college and some 4-year institutions and stuff. I was fresh out of high school. We did have some older students or people who came back to school or whatever, and that was fine. There was no, they were actually better to work with than the other kids. But it was a unique mix of people because it was literally people from all over the country, all walks of life, different age groups, different industries, like some people coming in from the film industry, from the audio recording industry or whatever, and then going into that realm of academia. And then other people were like, I want to be a film person when I get older. And you could tell how green they were. Like it was... Right. It was very apparent seeing from, some of these people. But, I loved actually like not having to go into a physical classroom and stuff like that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I could see that being cool.
I learned a lot, managed to get out of there with good grades and good marks and stuff. So I was like, hell yeah, we're doing it. But that was my interesting encounter.
I guess, yeah, when you do the online classes, you're definitely going to get a wide variety of different characters in there. Like I've never had the opportunity to do online class. I think I did one online class at our community college, and it was like law history or something.
Mm-hmm.
I did terrible. I was like, I hate this.
Let me tell you, we did that out of high school, and that was probably like the infrastructure for online classes was nowhere near as intuitive or developed as it is now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It uses like an in-house online software program. Like it was developed by them for their students. Like I don't have to log into like Blackboard.
Right.
I can watch lectures live. I can submit assignments, do discussion boards, link stuff from YouTube, cite sources. Like it's very, very sophisticated how great their program is and stuff. But yeah, so unless if you guys have anything that you want to bring up, I can go into another segment. I never like to dominate episodes. I always like to open up the floor if people so choose.
Do you guys know anybody who sells Arbonne?
What is that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's like one of those things where like you'll get on Facebook and a lot of the people that you went to high school with are like, I feel so great. I'm slimmed down using
Yeah.
such and such
I think
fizz.
actually I do know one person, yeah.
That's like, I keep talking about it because like that's the modern pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
It's like Avon.
Oh yeah.
You try to get multiple people under you, and like everything obviously, filters up to the top.
I actually almost got recruited for like some type of berry pyramid scheme. And I just couldn't, they were trying to like measure like my
Selling berries?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's from It's Always Sunny. I was trying to make a reference there. But Bill muted his mic and yeah. Anyway,
Sorry, I had an issue.
yeah, that's fine. But yeah, like that was the one where like it was in Vigoron and they were trying to sell berries and Charlie was like, where do I put my feet? Like, cause she was trying to like measure like his like thetan levels or whatever.
Yeah. And Dennis or Dee's trying to tell Dennis that it's a funnel thing and he just turns it upside down.
Yeah, it's an upside down funnel, but they're like, no, that's a pyramid.
Yeah. Well, the reason I bring it up, because you were talking about pyramid schemes, I would say my sister knows somebody who is super high up in that company.
Really?
I guess in the grand scheme of like, not like the creators, but like they've leveled up to that level of getting people, into that regime or whatever.
Yeah, they're benefiting wholly.
Majorly.
Like up at the top.
Like that's their job.
Wow.
And at one point, like, and they have a title for it. It's like national whatever account, person. Basically, I've convinced, 100 other idiots to do this. And I guess they made some wild claim. And my sister, shared this with our family group chat. My sister made this or showed us this post that this person was making this claim that Arbonne could cure or prevent COVID.
What?
And it was just like a wild claim. And my sister was just like, that's it. All right.
That sounds like some Mark the Earther shit. Like,
yeah, I think my sister's pretty outspoken. And I think she posted like, this is like wildly, not inappropriate, but like not arrogant, but just like unfounded. And, you can't say that.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what? I hear you say that. Like, I hear that that's somebody making that claim. And that, I'll tell you what it sounds like. It sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Right, exactly. It's just interesting to me because I do have a couple, what I would consider long-lasting friends who do that.
Who, like, sell Arbonne?
Yeah, and who, post and whatever. And I mean, it's mostly annoying, but, I like the people, so I just kind of tolerate it. But, like, I don't get how in this day and age, people in our age range, in our age group, could fall susceptible to something like that. I don't know.
And I think especially what makes it more difficult is we come from a generation of people that are being taught to ask questions and rely on like facts and figures and science and stuff.
Sure.
So I think that people could even be swayed by stuff other than that. I think that's what's more surprising. Like, it's almost like, oh yeah, I can prove this. And then, it's almost like the Mark the Earther defense. It's like, well, how can you trust this scientist? It's like, because they're smarter than me. And it's like,
right.
But I can go to this lake and I can look at it and it's flat. It's like, well, how can I fucking trust you? Like, you're just going out to a lake. Like,
what authority are you, guy?
If you want to pull that thread, I can pull it just as hard and, we'll watch this sweater unravel together.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is like, it's like a supplement for, it's kind of similar to the berries. Like, it's good for digestive health. It's good for mental health, weight.
It was vitamins and eating healthy,
Yeah, yeah, it's everything. But like, to make the claim that it cures COVID is like a whole other.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What's interesting is I feel like this is kind of gearing up towards like what would be a natural segue into like a Mark the Earther segment. And I didn't have a post picked out for this episode because we kind of did like, the pseudo intro with him leaving the show, like us taking back the show from his grimy paws, if you will. But I do have to say, I don't know if Eric, if you or Bill have been following him recently, like his happenings. Yeah. He says, and this is his quotes, not mine. And this is Chris, we'll get you hooked up after the show. We'll so you can actually see this guy in action, like live. He says he's got a video that he's cooking up, and he's getting ready to drop it here in a soon, I think was his time frame, which I don't know what soon means, but he's been going off on people who don't agree with him, who think the earth is round or a sphere. He's got all this evidence.
You must have some new evidence for us all, huh?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gotten very
Personal.
yes.
Well, it's gotten aggressive too.
Yep,
Yeah,
I
it
haven't
has.
seen that. I haven't checked it out.
I want to say he posted like something yesterday, so it could still be on his like Instagram story timeline, but it was something to the effect of like, you know, like I was having a civil discussion with this guy who then started to insult me, but then, you know, he just took it too far and he just started swearing and calling me out and stuff, and he's like, you know, I'm just going to drop a video of our findings from this lake, you know, that's nearby him, I guess. I don't know where. Bill, you may know the actual lake.
I know where it is, but like I'm nowhere near that.
Okay. Yeah, so he was like, yeah, we're going to drop our, you know, findings from it, and we're going to like let people see, you know, the truth for their eyes. Like you're going to be able to look at our measurements and know. And it's like, okay, I'm waiting.
All right then.
Like I'm waiting with, you know, bells on my toes. Like, you know, just, I just want to see this shit drop and go from there.
Does he have a huge following?
I could pull up his Instagram and tell you how many followers he has right now.
Not huge, no.
Like, I'm curious to know how many people are like on board with this, and are they on board to watch a train wreck, or are they like actual cult followers?
Aaron, I meant to tell you, there is a friend who's in the same general circle, but not like directly in the tight circle, who has now actually started to post the reverse of it.
Oh, so this person is now posting proof of a round spherical Earth.
Right.
And like disproving flat Earth. Oh, I like that.
And I know for a fact
They're gonna battle.
Yeah,
that
it's gonna end in a
like, they
showdown.
know each other for sure.
Interesting.
Now, I can type in the name. I'm not sure if it's a private or a public account, but I'll type it in.
Oh, okay. Into general?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do I know this dude's name?
He was in another smaller but similar styled band from that area.
That's probably how I know it then.
But it's not frequent, but little by little I've seen some like contrarian points.
And they would definitely follow each other. Like they know of each other's existence.
They would 100% know of each other's existence, yes.
Interesting. Now, like I'm looking down through this account and stuff, and it almost seems like this is definitely more of like a family-oriented account. So
now check the story.
Yeah, I was going to say, so the story it must be where he's posting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
It's just interesting because like, and it's definitely contrarian. And I don't know that it's provoked by Mark, but it does seem convenient that somewhat the same social circle. This is probably like 2 or 3 rings out, but it's the same circle for sure.
I'm kind of waiting for this showdown now. Like I thought potentially it would be.
And I'll type in the chat.
Yeah. I thought potentially it would be us someday that was going to have a showdown with Mark, but man, oh man, like if we could see. Oh, okay, yeah. So that's who he was. That's why I recognized it.
And so it would almost be impossible for that not to be familiar with the other.
By the way, I don't think this ever came up. When we met you in 2012 at the for that show.
Yes.
Was okay, so so Mark was there?
No, but this other person was.
Oh, this guy was. Okay. So I was going to say, like, were these two people in the same room without even knowing it, that years later they would potentially be having this battle of
No.
spherical or flat plane proportions?
Right. I just keep an eye on that.
I'm excited.
Because like it hasn't been it's not as steady as Mark, but it's been popping up.
Yeah, so what I figured we would do is for the future episode of the podcast, like obviously we have it teased a little bit here. I'll definitely have another dedicated Mark the Earther segment. I'll have it planned. And I'm basically going to wait until he drops this video. So I'm hoping that's going to be fairly soon. And then whenever we manage to record another episode or whatever, that's when we'll have the video and other posts to go over and stuff. So it'll be like a Mark the Earther dump day sort of
Gotcha.
deal, if you will. So yeah, we're we're getting close to wrapping up the show, but I did have another segment that I wanted to introduce and talk about. This is a brand new segment because I figured we would introduce one for the new season, because obviously we went over and we talked about all of the best segments from like season 1 and stuff, actually all of them. And we did like a recap on the final episode of season 1. So I figured we'd start off the new season fresh, brand new, hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars, not sponsored. And I figured we would do a brand new segment. And this one is called Unusual Celebrities. And this is a segment that I came up with a while ago. And this is something that it's kind of fluid in the sense that like it can change its meaning over time. But basically what I wanted to do was I wanted to have a segment that was highlighting different or unique celebrities for some reason in particular. And that's going to vary wildly. So it could be internet fame. It could be fame for being crazy. It could be fame for like a specific event or whatever. But one of the things that I wanted to highlight for this first one is actually an internet celebrity, because this has been shared over so many clips and stuff, and it just makes me laugh each and every time. And it's something that I definitely wanted to bring to your attention today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen right now for you gents again. And we are going to get this queued up and played. So let me know when you guys are ready to go.
I'm all good.
I'm in.
What are we looking at here?
So what you're going to look at is our brand new first-time celebrity, Nim Chimpsky.
Okay.
Now, Nim Chimpsky is actually a monkey. And the reason why I wanted to highlight him is because there's a very famous internet clip of him going around. But I'm going to play this short clip, and this will give you like a brief history into Nim's existence. So basically, Nim was a chimp that was a part of a study. He was like I want to say the 5th chimp or the 5th monkey in line for studying if apes and humans could communicate, whether it be by spoken word, by sign language. So Nim was like the latest chimp in their experiments to teach sign language to monkeys.
Got it.
So this is the famous clip that's circulating the internets. This video is actually brought to you by, I think it's NPR Skunk Ape or something like that.
Sure.
So this is not my video or not my clips, but this is it. So here we go.
There's a long history of humans trying to get apes to talk to them, but will we ever get close to a true conversation? Could an ape ever learn to use language the way humans do? Scientific efforts to talk to animals have often focused on the great apes, our closest, cleverest cousins. Scientists decided that spoken language wasn't the way to go, but they noticed that in the wild, chimpanzees use a lot of gestures. Maybe they could be taught a few words of American Sign Language. But other people were a bit more skeptical, people like Herbert Terrace, a psychologist at Columbia. He was working with another ape, Nim Chimpsky. Nim used a bunch of signs, just like Washoe and Coco, but Terrace took a cold, hard look at the videos of Nim, and he also went back and analyzed the videos of other apes. He said all those claims about ape language were nothing but wishful thinking. Take the idea that apes could combine signs to form new meanings. Maybe when Washoe saw swan and signed waterbird, she was just separately pointing out water and a bird. But his skepticism went much further. He doubted the apes even understood the words they were signing. When the trainers would ask questions, the apes would just guess at the right sign. They look for cues in the trainer's body language or simply mimic the trainer's gestures. The apes weren't using language like we would to ask questions or express opinions. They just wanted to get food and affection. Nim's longest recorded sentence was, "Give orange me, give eat orange me, eat orange, give me eat orange, give me you."
He really wanted that orange.
Right.
So believe it or not, that is actually a 16-word sentence. I didn't realize that was a sentence, but apparently give me orange,
I mean,
give
that's
me,
a loose.
eat orange, give me.
That sounds like the same sentence that your college classmate used in that fucking forum response.
Exactly. And that's why I wanted to bring up the conversation in this same episode as Nim, because I feel like they really translate well together. So yeah, I wanted to give like a little bit of a background history into Nim and into that clip. So Nim was alive from November 19th, 1973. That's when he was born. And he died March 10th, 2000. So sadly, Nim is no longer with us. But he was a part, obviously he was a chimpanzee, and he was a part of an extended study of animal language at Columbia University. And obviously, like the video talked about, you know, he was, the project that he was a part of was led by Herbert Terrace, and he was a linguistic, he did a linguistic analysis that was headed up by psycholinguist, linguist. Linguini, a psycholinguini expert, Thomas Beaver. I don't know how to pronounce that either.
Gotta be Beaver.
Yeah, we'll go with Beaver.
It's Bever, so I'm
My
sure
pal,
it's Bever.
Tom Beaver, I met down there at the bar.
But yeah, so he was a part of this study, and sadly, Nim's story is not very happy, so I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's very sad, but if you would like to look into it, his name is Nim Chimpsky. Official name was Neum Chimpsky, but they just called him Nim for short. And his name is actually a pun on Noam Chomsky, or Chomsky. Noam. What's up with these fucking names in this article? This is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Noam Chopsticks.
Lawn gnome.
So yeah, so some of his other like signs that he was famous for was banana Nim eat, drink me Nim, finish hug Nim, grape eat Nim, play me Nim, tickle me Nim. Those are some of his famous 3-sign quotations. And some of his 4 signs were banana eat me Nim, drink Nim, grape eat Nim eat, me Nim eat me eat drink more, and play me Nim play.
It's like me trying to pick up a woman for the first time.
Yeah, like you're just out at the bar.
Me have number digit now.
This is how it was back in the caveman times.
Yeah, yeah. So what's interesting
Me
though
like
is
you.
Me, Tom Beaver.
it's totally a different study than the one with Nim, but there are other studies going on. The most recent one is with a bonobo or a bonobo called kanzi, and which is a type of monkey, just in case you're wondering.
Sure.
And they're actually teaching kanzi to type on a board. Like there are these symbols on a board, and you can tap on it, and each symbol corresponds with a word. So that actually takes a lot of the gesture and like leading work that could be happening with trainers and these monkeys, like with facial cues or like with hand cues or whatever. Because if you're just talking with this monkey and he says he understands you by typing the actual thing on this board, that means he understands it and he understands like language or whatever. So Kanzi is the latest experiment, but they're teaching Kanzi's son, Tico, I think his name is, or Ticho. I was doing a bunch of research on this last night, so forgive me if some of the names or things are wrong, but you, like I said, it's all there. You can look this up or whatever. But they're teaching him, and they're hoping that this Tico or Ticho, whatever his name is, can become the first monkey to speak with a human, like speak with spoken word, full sentences to humans. So that's going to be happening.
That would be crazy.
What makes them think that they can pronounce words? Like, has it ever been done? Like, actually pronouncing anything?
Yeah, so in this same video, in this same study, and I'll link this, you know, in the social media posts and stuff, there was a different monkey. I want to say it was the third monkey. The third one was Gua. The second one was Vicky. I don't know the name of the third one. The fourth one is Coco. So Coco the Gorilla,
Coco.
A lot of people would know with, you know, Robin Williams and stuff like that. But yeah, the third one, they actually taught her, she was a chimpanzee, and they used their fingers to like shape her mouth into like words. And she actually said, Papa, cup, and eat, I think.
Interesting.
So yeah, the foundations are there. So like we could, within years, actually have a monkey be able to talk to humans, which would be wild. That's wild. That would be unbelievably wild.
That's like Planet of the Apes shit.
Yeah, it's the start, but instead of Caesar, it would be Tico or, you know, whatever.
Got to keep the guns away from them for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't want that.
Every
We don't
time
want a
I think
war.
of monkey and guns. I think of that one clip of the chimpanzee in Africa. I think it was like in some village in Africa, and it got a hold of an AK-47, and it's just like spinning around with the AK, and the people like run and duck for cover.
Right, losing full.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And obviously chimps are incredibly intelligent, but we shall see. So yeah, Nim Chimpsky is our first unusual celebrity. So yeah, we're quickly approaching the end of the podcast here. I want to try to keep it as short as possible, but I wanted to end this inaugural episode of season 2 with a bit of a storyline here. So for you gentlemen and for the audience at large, a couple of you already know what's happening. The wide majority of you don't. I am actually going to have a season-long storyline that will encompass the entirety of season 2 of the podcast. And it's basically going to be like me checking in on a weekly basis so people can, figure out like what's happening and stuff. But yeah, so I wanted to have a season-long storyline. And I figured the first thing that I wanted to have was something that would be frustrating to deal with. So it would kind of be funny to see my mental spiral down as the season progresses. And like, I kind of thought about a lot of different things. So what I eventually settled on, though, was a jigsaw puzzle. And you may be saying to yourself right now, Aaron, how is a jigsaw puzzle frustrating? Well, I'm going to send this to general chat, and I'll let your reactions tell the story. The puzzle that I'm going to be putting together...
Oh, I hate that.
...is extremely difficult.
That's toxic.
It is a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle of just a blank white canvas. It is all white. There's no pictures, no words.
Why would somebody do that?
Beats me, man. Beats me.
That's awful.
I don't even know how much time that's going to take. Like, you're going to have to try every
cool,
piece.
though, honestly.
Like, you could get the border done right. That'll take some
Somewhat
time,
easy.
but manageable.
Yep.
But the whole inside, good luck. This is gonna be years, I think.
So no, well, I gotta do this in 3 to 4 months. Are you kidding me? Like by the time this season 2 is over with. So here's the picture of the puzzle pieces out of the bag. So that's all 1,000 pieces for you gents right there, and then for the socials. So obviously I did start it, and we managed to, because I don't think anybody will complain if I manage to do this. My mom and I actually started to work on this together, but the best part is she's actually so far only helped me sort the puzzle pieces. She has not actually like put any of the pieces together. So everything that you're about to see has been put together by me so far. So in this next image that I'm sending over, that is almost all of the edge pieces sorted out from the general pile. And then the teeny tiny little 4-piece pile above it, those are the corners. So I managed to find all of the corners in there. And, the one thing that if you look at some of these
You're
pictures,
halfway there already.
You may be able to tell, and I'm going to send here's a close-up of the back side of the pieces.
I was gonna ask. They have a pattern on the back. I wonder if the patterns correlate to certain sections.
Yeah, so it's impossible to know if you're just putting this puzzle together. Like, how would you know what white piece goes with another white piece? Like, it's just impossible to visually tell because some of them fit so closely. So on the back, they have those patterns. There's stripes, there's clubs, there's triangles, and there's circles.
Interesting.
And they're directional too. So you can kind of tell, like, if you have a triangle facing one way and a triangle facing another way, you know that one is like on the edge of one side and one is on the edge of another side.
Basically, you have to do this puzzle upside down.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Just put it together the other way.
Well,
with all those things facing you.
That would be somebody who's smart and somebody who would want to cheat at doing this. So I'm essentially eyeballing it and putting pieces together, and I'm only verifying if they're correct by flipping them over. So this was my first stopping checkpoint. I started this on July 4th, by the way. We started sorting the pieces.
Big fucking party.
Yeah, it was a great holiday. So we started on July 4th, and then by the end of July 5th, that was what I had done so far. Not bad.
No.
Could be better, could be worse, but, it wasn't terrible. But, we're making some progress. So then I decided what would be better was I would have puzzle pieces sorted into certain sections. So like if I'm working on clubs, put the clubs together. Or if I'm working on a side with 2 prongs or 2 holes or whatever, like I would put them together. So after I started to get a system in place, this is what I ended on last night. And this is the official update where we ended on the end of week 1.
Oh, yeah.
Not bad. I would say
No.
that's making some good fucking progress. And if you look, there's a lot more piles than there were before. So each pile, the one that's all the way like to the bottom left, that is all of the edge pieces that are remaining. So that'll be the outside of the puzzle. And then there's piles for clubs, stripes, circles, triangles. And then there's the little micro pile that's in the midst of all the bigger piles. That is where symbols overlap. So like on one half of the puzzle piece, there's like circles, and then another half, there's stripes, or there's triangles and clubs. Because as you can imagine, there will be pieces where they overlap.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, so that'll be the season-long storyline is can Aaron finish this fucking puzzle by the time season 2 is over with. And I think we're off to a rip-roaring start for that. But seeing as you're not hearing me go to an outro right now, I had another idea.
Okay.
And this other idea was I didn't want to just be working on a fucking puzzle the entire season and hate myself, because it would be absolutely awful, especially if I hated puzzles, specifically this puzzle. So I needed something calming. So I figured it would be just as awesome to follow the progress of something that is calming and something that you can actually see progress on, like a puzzle. So what I got is something that's, so by the way, that will be called Puzzle Update. Every time there's a puzzle update, I'm going to play like an audio cue, and it's going to go, Puzzle Update, Puzzle Update.
Right.
From a skit on Mad TV back in the day. Bonus points if you can find out that skit.
Puzzle update! Puzzle update!
You'll get 5 Save It for the Cast bucks if you're able to correctly find which skit I'm talking about. So this next and final season long thing is called Bonsai Bonanza. And if you can guess, I have purchased a grow your own bonsai tree kit.
No, I love this. I love
Yes,
this.
this looks good.
And I am going to grow my own bonsai trees. And and then we're going to track along the course of the next few months how the trees come in, what they look like in the future. And, there are 4 different types of trees. There is the Colorado blue spruce. There's the flame tree. There is the, what's that one called? The rosewood. And then there is the black spruce.
I like the Brazilian rosewood. I like that.
I do too. Unfortunately, that is the one along with the flame tree that I have the least amount of hope for, because the soil temperature has to be a consistent 85 degrees for them to germinate. And
Wow.
so I'm going to need to order a heating pad if I want those to live, or keep them
Or a
in the
lamp,
sun and shade.
maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking about the lamp, but then that dries out the soil too. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta come up with a solution.
Just send them to Chris.
I could. Chris, you want to take care of these trees for me?
Send them down here. I'll put them outside. It's 110 degrees out every day. You'll be fine.
Yeah. At least the tropical ones will. So I'll send some of the images and stuff. So that the first one that I sent over is the flame tree. What you had to do first was you had to soak the seeds for 24 hours in cups of water. The next one that I sent over was rosewood. So those are the 2 like tropical trees and stuff. And then we have the Colorado blue spruce
In the red cup.
Yeah, we didn't have any more clear cups, funny enough. So I had to swap to red midway through. And then we also have the black spruce. And as you can tell, the seeds are fucking tiny apart from the flame tree seeds.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we had to soak the seeds for 24 hours. The kit was actually really awesome. If you look at that first picture that I sent, what it comes with the seeds, an instructional kit, obviously the wooden placards, 4 burlap sacks to grow these things in. And then the things that are stacked up next to the sacks are 4 dirt hockey puck discs. And you put those in water and they expanded, I'm not joking, to about the size of a can of Campbell's soup.
Oh, that's cool.
Very large amount of dirt that would come from each of those small pucks. But yeah, so that was like the beginning process, and then when we got everything all set up, here are the actual like little burlap sacks, and that's seeds in dirt.
Oh.
So yeah, so that'll be like the first update for the Bonsai Bonanza. If you want me to give you an update pick almost a week later, it's still dirt. Spoiler alert.
All right.
It'll be about 35 days until we start to see some sproutage.
Okay.
But yeah, so I figured that would be a fun little thing to do to calm me down from my puzzle mania.
I got a funny story. So you bring this up that you're trying to grow plants. So I had the idea since Christmas to try to grow a mint plant. Now I got a friend at work who's renting a house, and he got mint all over his house. He's like, it's terrible. I can't get rid of it. It just grows and grows and grows.
What's he making, mojitos or something?
So my thought is exactly that. Like, okay, I like mojitos. And every time I go to the store and buy the mint, like, if you don't use it within the first or like day or two, it starts turning brown.
Yeah, wilts.
Yeah, it goes bad.
Right. So I was like, I got the idea. Let me try to grow my own plant. So I've tried it twice now. Can't do it. That shit just dies.
I love the idea of you gardening. Love it.
Farmer
Yeah.
Chris.
I mean,
Farmer
I fucking love it.
I think the problem is that I don't have any like direct sunlight of where I can grow it right now.
Wait, you don't have any windows?
I have windows, but it's
Oh,
not direct
facing
sunlight.
north-south.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
My
I
windows
gotcha.
face north, basically. So like I could put it outside, and I've done that a few times, but like within one day, like the soil's so dried up that I think I killed it. Like, you put it outside in 110 degrees, it ain't lasting long.
Hey, you're on the surface of the fucking sun.
I got a new merch idea. It's going to be Farmer Chris, and it's going to be just a bunch of wilted mint plants. Like, that'll
Put
be...
me on a big old tractor with like one of those straw hats.
Yeah, we'll get you a straw hat, a tractor, and just a bunch of dried up dirt and withered plants. Like, that'll be good.
It was such a letdown.
I mean, I have faith in you. You can try again.
Yeah. Maybe sometime
Yeah.
soon. I don't know.
You said
I still
that.
got the seeds left, but I don't know.
You said that with somebody who was the least enthused about trying something for a second or third or fourth time ever.
I just want the goddamn mojitos.
Right, I would too.
Chris's homemade mojitos.
Oh yeah.
Well, I feel like that was a banger episode of the podcast, boys. I feel like that was a real solid episode. So yeah, let's see what we got here. Thank you for joining us on the show today, everybody. We let's see, we'll go in a random order here. How about thank you, Billy, for coming at us live from
All right.
I'm trying to think of like a callback to like a past thing that we did.
He escaped the ball pit. Where is he now?
So I wanted to do a gardening theme for the outro. So Chris, you're obviously going to be the mint plant. Let's see what kind of plant, Bill.
I used to have a bamboo plant. We're currently growing dwarf sunflowers. I don't know if that.
Wow.
I don't know if that is that what you want.
Yeah, we'll go with bamboo. So thank you, Bill, coming at us live from a bamboo plant.
Be safe, be kind. Have a good weekend.
And thank you, Chris, for joining us for your first ever podcast. Hopefully we can have you on again. You're coming at us live from a mint plant.
Always trying to keep it fresh.
And Eric, do you have a plant in mind that you
Nah.
Weed.
Eric,
Perfect.
No.